What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, for being subscribed if you are. If you aren't, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. Let's get into this conversation/reality chat. And I had to stop myself because I actually was laughing when I was beginning this recording. And I said, you know what? Let me start over. But I'm laughing because HotelHolt is really a joke. And I was looking at something on Facebook, which I hardly get into. But when I was Googling, looking up his suit collection with Miguel Wilson, I couldn't really find anything. So I'm curious to know what's really going on with this situationship/business partnership, because he is just a copycat. And I know it's an old phrase. We've heard it when we were little kids, and he, I would not even give him the compliment of saying he acts like a child, because there are children that act more mature than he does. He's just a really psychopathic, narcissistic, in my opinion, idiot. So I would not even put the label on him of being a child or childish. Okay. So I had to pull that word back. But he was on this most recent episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. I just finished watching the recording of it, and or on demand, I should say. And I was really laughing throughout this episode because it was almost like a bit of comedy relief for me. He is an absolute joke. And for this guy, Miguel Wilson, that I've never heard of, and I'm not into suits, obviously. I mean, I'm just saying, but it benefits him to be on the show. So let's just be clear with that. This is by far, for Miguel Wilson, a better situation than it is for Hotel, because in spite of what I will call, in my personal opinion, the label that they've given them, in my mind, rightfully so, women who adore this fool, pick-me's, that adore him for superficial reasons, most people don't have good thoughts about him. So, and even though we know men think differently about other men than women do, most men are out to attract women. And if they have them, then a lot of the women are going to help them with picking out their suits. In my personal opinion, I just don't feel that this dude is a good business risk. Now, I heard someone else giving some commentary weeks ago about people reaching out to Miguel Wilson, just reaching out to him and expressing their displeasure with the connection that he has made with Hotel, and saying that they thought it was a bad idea, it was a bad business risk. And I think he responded with something along the lines of, well, we're all human and we all make mistakes and yada, yada, yada. But he basically was saying his mind was made up and he's moving forward. In my personal opinion, I mean, he benefits from being on the show. So why wouldn't he connect with the buffoon who's all about his image and his looks by always wearing suits, when he really has no real business about himself and nothing really going on, than to say, yeah, I think this is a good business connection. But here's my thing, because when they were having this meeting, right, and Miguel Wilson with whoever the person was that was with him, I don't know if it was an employee, a business partner, a girlfriend, I don't know, but it was a female. She was with him at this meeting that they were at with Hotel, and he told him something, and I just burst out laughing because they were talking about the suits and the look that they were thinking for the suits, and that the suits should have gold buttons, and they were like, yeah, this is real presidential. I'm like, presidential? You mean presidential? Because this dude is, in my personal opinion, a criminal. He allegedly was arrested before. I guess maybe his record was expunged, and he didn't have to serve a lot of prison time, but he allegedly was helping out family with heisting an ATM machine. Okay. That was talked about on another channel in detail. So that's not allegedly, but I'm saying that he allegedly did these things, as well as the fact that he admitted to trying to extort his ex-wife, doing something that is criminal to possibly expose and leak a tape that he did when he was married to her, if she didn't, quote unquote, quit bullying him on social media. Like, how can you call somebody like that and connect anything with him as being presidential? Although we know that, especially these days, there are some presidents that have done some alleged criminal behavior. So I'm not even going down that rabbit hole, but I'm saying presidential, absolutely not. Presidential, maybe. But one of the things that Miguel Wilson said to Hotel, I was scratching the side of my head in wonderment, just considering some things, because Miguel told him that something like this, it's going to be about a $100,000 investment on his part, Hotel's part. Now, he didn't seem to me like, oh, that's no big deal. He tried to act like it wasn't. But if you read his response in his body movements and facial expression, I really think that Hotel was surprised by that. So I'm wondering, and I'm very curious as to how he got the funds, because Miguel did say it's not something that you're going to have to pay all up front, but yet and still it's something that you're going to have to pay. I'm assuming they worked something out on the back end, but this is the same dude that on the first episode of this season was complaining to his mama about the bill that he got from his attorney for attorney's fees that he owed for the freaking lawsuit that he filed, okay, that he initiated against Melody, pursuing custody of their children. So you're over here on one end of the spectrum complaining about, what was it, like a $10,000 bill from your attorney. But then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Miguel Wilson saying that this is going to be a $100,000 investment. And you're like, oh, yeah, no problem. So I'm really curious as to know how he came about the funds for this investment. Now, again, Miguel did say it's not like you're going to have to pay it all up front, but it is something that's going to have to be paid. But again, Miguel Wilson, he gets the exposure by being on this show. Granted, it's not Bravo TV, but Miguel knows that Hotel also has been and will be on, I'm assuming, more episodes of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So this is something that benefits him. So for people who felt like, well, Hotel has no integrity, how could he connect himself with someone like this? This is business for him. At the end of it all, this is business, this is money. And unfortunately, he's not going to see Hotel in the light that a lot of people see him in. But when I went to this Facebook post, because if you Google martellholt suit collection, there's not a whole lot that comes up, to be honest with you. The first thing that comes up is a sponsored ad for Bergdorf Goodman, which of course his, things are not there. It's just an ad for the department store because that's what they do. But when I went to the post on Facebook, one of the first comments under a reel that was posted about this is someone by the name of Bruce, who I'm assuming is a male. And they posted, "Make it make sense. You said Ariane is a good mother over Melody. Why don't you marry Ariane then? based on that interview with Queen Sheba, dude, you're full of confusion. So, it's kind of funny because he's doing this. He's doing this promo for these suits, and under it, you've got people that are, even though that was a man, again, like I said, I'm assuming maybe there was a female named Bruce because there's no picture of a person in that post, or that comment, I should say. But the majority of the comments are women, and they're speaking positive about what he looks like. And see, that's the danger, and that's the sad thing about some of these women out here. They are forever making terrible decisions because they do things based on the aesthetic. Now, for me, there's nothing appealing about him. The looks just don't do it for me. And then when you add the character of it, there's nothing that I can say is attractive about this dude. I can't say he has a nice smile. I can't say I like the shape of his head. I can't say I like the way his face looks. I don't like anything about him. Like, he just disgusts me. And I feel like if more women felt that way and treated a lot of these men that are just like, they're not shit, and treated them that way, it would really help them to stop making terrible decisions when it comes to being with a lot of ain't shit men. Because you have comments like this person that says, he's crazy as hell, but he looks damn good in a suit. Like, you're the problem. You're the problem. I would never even equate that to him. Yeah, he's definitely crazy as hell, but I would never end that by saying, but he looks good in a suit. You're Xing out everything that you said before that. And you know what they say about the word but. It's like you tell someone, I'm sorry, but you just X'd out the apology. And you meant everything that you said after that. So nothing that you said before that even matters. So for the people who just want to say, well, he looks good, even though he's crazy, then you will kind of deserve everything that you have coming to you when you make these terrible, bad decisions about getting with people who are terrible people, but you get with them based on the way that they look, okay? But I am just curious to know, where did he get the money? And, I get it. They get paid to be on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I really don't know what they get paid to be on the show, to be quite honest with you guys. I don't think I've ever heard anyone come out to disclose the pay figures of these castmates that are on Carlos King shows, because we have heard things about the contracts of housewives and how much they got paid per episode or per season. But I've never heard that about anyone that's on Carlos King shows. But I do know this: they don't have the budget that they have for Bravo TV. So I don't really know if he's got it like that, especially when he was complaining about a $10,000 attorney's fee bill for something that he initiated in the freaking first place. So I'm quite sure he knew that he even owed that, and that was probably like a 30-day or 60-day notice of some sort that the law firm sent to him, because he probably knew that he owed that when he initiated it, and they gave him the timeline on when those fees would be due, and he just was pushing it down the line and hoping that he would get some sort of win where Melody would have to pay his attorney's fees, because we know he sought that and he didn't win it. Okay. So I don't know, but he's just a copycat, because Melody, she got her connection with Jay Bolin, the designer and stylist, and she had the Jay Bolin collection where he linked up and partnered up with Melody for that clothing line. And so now, of course, Martell, always known as Hotel. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to say the Mar. He linked up with this guy because it's pretty much the same thing that Melody is doing. He always wants to do the same thing that she's doing. And might I just add something, because I saw this episode, and at the end of the episode, when the former comeback group was meeting, the core 6 people from the show, when Hotel walked in the room, because Melody and Kimmy got there first, they were having a little conversation and it was good. And then when he shows up and then he wants to come over and greet Melody, he's just so fake, and he always wants to make her out to be the problem. So when he goes over there to greet her and shake her hand, which we know is fake, she's like, yeah, hey, Martell. She was not giving him her hand, and I couldn't blame her. And then he wants to do this confessional to the camera to say, well, see, I don't know why it has to be like that, because we should be able to coexist. Can people coexist in a room with a pile of trash, flies flying around? You got piles of dog shit in the trash can, and all kinds of old used food and everything. That's what it's like being in the room with him. And that's why she can't stand being around him. You can't coexist with garbage. You can't coexist with trash. So he needs to stop trying to equate himself like he's a regular person and she's just this mean, evil, vindictive person. I get it. There's some people that just try to make her out to be the problem. And I even saw a comment by someone on this Facebook post that he did this reel for his suit collection. And some people are just mean, evil, and bitter when it comes to this woman that really has done absolutely nothing to them. But this person was just trying to encourage him and saying how Sheree looks better than her and he needs to move on from her. I was like, that is just absolutely ridiculous. But some people, like Melody says, just choose to hate her for whatever reason. And I'm saying that speaking from someone who does not label themselves as a millimeter. Nothing against the people who call themselves that, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. I admire her and respect her work ethic and acumen, the fact that she was able to get out of a dysfunctional, in my opinion, dangerous relationship with a psychopath and move on and move forward and live having 4 children. Like, that's not an easy thing to do, and I would never take that away from her. But I'm just not somebody that calls myself a super fan or a millimeter. I don't do that for anybody, not even Beyonce, even though they call the internet Beyonce's internet. And I'm a fellow Virgo, so okay, and Beyonce's a Virgo, so I'm not taking that away from anyone. I'm just saying, to see a comment like that, it just really shows you the depths and levels that some people really just despise this woman for whatever reason. Like she said, when she made that live video talking about the fact that she knew about the plot that he had to try to expose her, to make her to be something that she's not. And it's just disgusting. It's very vile. And I could not blame her one bit when she did not give this pile of garbage her hand to shake it, because he doesn't deserve her ass to kiss either. I'm sorry. He is disgusting. So when he said that, I said, why would she want to shake hands with garbage and trash? You're trash. So no, she should not be able to coexist with you. And it sucks and it's sad because she does have 4 children with him, and the courts are forcing her to have some semblance of a, co-parenting situation with him. But unfortunately, we know all too well that a lot of situations have happened in people's lives that family courts could not prevent and could not protect people from. Restraining orders don't save people. There have been people who have gotten taken out of this earth that had a restraining order up against somebody. And I'm just saying that to say, just because the family courts have put this order in place for her to co-parent with this disgusting, vile piece of garbage, doesn't mean that he's sane, and it doesn't mean that they know everything that has transpired and that has went on. So I don't blame her one bit for not shaking his hand, okay? She wants to be able to live her life, have her children when she has the opportunity to have them. Because of his selfish decisions, he took that away from her. She can't even have her children all of the time. So I can't imagine what she goes through when her children are not in her care. I can only imagine. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons why she stays busy with her business deals and everything that she has going on, and not just sitting in wonderment because she is not good with the situation of him having the kids and not really knowing everything that's going on, because there's been rumors out there about people that he's been leaving the kids with. Okay, when he tried to accuse her of having 20 something, like you said, babysitters. And he's revealed that he isn't the most doting father that's always keeping the kids under his care whenever he has the kids with him. Because let's face it, he doesn't really have that much going on. There's really no reason why he should have anybody babysitting the kids. They should always be with him at every waking moment. Okay? So I'm sorry. I don't blame her for not shaking his hand because, yeah, there's a lot of resentment there. And I say she has a right to hold a grudge. I definitely believe that. I definitely don't have a problem with her holding a grudge. I'm not saying that she should live in it, but I'm saying she doesn't have to release that to what they say, be the bigger person in the situation. She already has been the bigger person. She has been the bigger person. What more can she really do to be the bigger person? Does she have to acquiesce to his demands and act like everything's okay out in the public eye when she knows that it's not? I don't think that she should. But anyway, guys, it's amazing to me. He's got money to have this investment in this suit collection, but he was complaining about the money for the attorney's fees. Just make that all make sense. I don't know, guys. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I appreciate you being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth. I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.